In the ACC, Virginia Tech is poised to do great things. They've been bothered by a few preseason injuries, but the Hokies have a solid, experienced front court led by senior Jeff Allen. But the real strength of Seth Greenberg's squad is in the backcourt. In fact, the tandem of Dorenzo Hudson and Malcolm Delaney is among the best in the entire country. Delaney entered the NBA draft, but pulled out in his return to Blacksburg for his senior season means the Hokies should be factors in the ACC and finally get back to the NCAA tournament. Joining us right now is Ed Miller, longtime writer for the Virginian-Pilot. Ed, you've watched college basketball in this state for a lot of years now. This Virginia Tech team, they certainly have a lot of preseason accolades, but those don't pay the bills. You've got to cash in on the court. How good can this team be?
Well, John, they're in the preseason top 25 for the first time in a long time, which has excitement running high in Blacksburg. It's a team that's had a lot of expectations and had a lot of disappointment over the last few years on Selection Sunday. They've got all the pieces in place with, as you mentioned, a core of seniors, Malcolm Delaney, Jeff Allen, Dorenzo Hudson, Terrell Bell. They've got some issues already with injuries in the front court that are going to be interesting to watch. They need some of their younger players to step up there. But all in all, you know, the Hokies, you know, Selection Sunday should be a little kinder for Seth and the guys this year.
No NIT this time around. Of course, Malcolm Delaney, when he looked like he was going to go to the NBA, thought better of it, came back. That had to be key, knowing they're going to get arguably, you know, one of the best guards in the country back.
Yeah, sometimes these days the best recruits you get are the ones who decide to stay, the guys who don't go to the NBA.
Right.
And in their case, getting him back was probably the key to the whole thing.
Virginia Tech picks second in the ACC behind the Duke Blue Devils. They're the reigning national champs, not just ACC champs, but national champs. So certainly you have to start with Duke when you look at the rest of the league.
Absolutely, you got to start with Duke. I mean, they had 3 seniors they lost last year, but they bring in some new players. Kyrie Irving, the freshman point guard, is considered to be the best they've had, maybe since Jason Williams at that position. The Plumlee brothers, Kyle Singler, who of course could be ACC and National Player of the Year.
Look at the rest of the league. North Carolina, a very uncharacteristic season last year for the Tar Heels. This time around, they can't be as bad as they were a year ago.
You wouldn't think so, although they've had some issues too. Will Graves, one of their veteran players, is off the team. They're going to have to get better point guard play from Larry Drew. Harrison Barnes, the freshman, who along with Irving at Duke is maybe the best freshman in the league. Carolina should be back closer to where people are accustomed to them being. I don't see them as a team capable of making a Final Four run, but certainly they'll be back in the tournament, I would think.
University of Virginia, we're going to talk to head coach Tony Bennett a little bit later, but they're very much still a work in progress, right?
Absolutely, and with Sammy Zagunski at a point guard, they're going to be even more of a work in progress in the early part of the season, where it's going to be point guard by committee. They're going to count on Mike Scott, the Deep Creek senior, to provide some leadership, but you know, it's going to be a growth kind of year for Virginia. Fans are going to have to be patient.
It'll be interesting to see how that evolves over the course of this season. At the University of Richmond, things continue to look up. Coach Chris Mooney's Spiders are led by senior Kevin Anderson, who may be the best point guard in the state. With a solid supporting cast returning, Richmond could be a strong contender in the Atlantic 10. But they'll have to get past the likes of Temple and Xavier, who are always strong in what is usually a very underrated league.